Alright, here we go. Hi everyone and welcome to my AMA video, finally. So I have announced this back then in season 21 when I did my 150 solo Demon Hunter clear. I decided to say thank you to all of you, to all of my followers, all my subscribers on Twitch, on YouTube. Back then I was at 30k Twitch followers and now I'm at 50k, and we were also at 15k YouTube subs and now we're at 30k. So we have grown substantially since then. A lot of you might not even know that I had these plans, but here we are. I grouped some of the questions up a little bit. In total we have 50 of those, and I will start with a few personal things. Then there's going to be some part about gaming, Diablo related, and then we're gonna close with a bit more personal stuff and some generic questions that I couldn't really put anywhere else. I've gathered these questions at in total 3 different occasions. One was from the 150 solo Gold DH clear in season 21. That was almost exactly 1 year ago. Then the 150 solo Bone Spear clear in season 22. So on both of those videos I said that people can ask me questions and I will put them here. And I also had a channel for this that is now archived on my Discord. So this is where the questions are coming from. Some of them are quite old and possibly outdated, but I will answer them anyway and talk a bit about what has been happening since then. So let's get started. First of all, what's your real first name? Hi guys, my name is Max. What's the story behind your username, and what's the origin story of the nickname wudijo? So I had a lot of different nicknames in the past when I was little, and eventually it was time for me to make something more unique, more cool, and I decided to just create my own thing instead of trying to take something that sounds cool and to go with that. So I had some random idea about having 6 letters, 3 consonants, 3 syllables, 3 vocals, and I wanted to start with a W, and it should sound kind of Chinese. I don't know why, I just had this rule set that I followed, and this is what came out afterwards. So I tried out various things and this was the result. I've actually learned that Wudi in Chinese means invincible, so that was a coincidence, but I really like it. Have you ever thought about learning to play an instrument, or have you already tried? And if you did try, are you still learning, or did you give up? And if you gave up, then why? Well, yes, I did. So when I was around 17 or so, I tried to play the piano for a little bit. This was just during a summer. I had an old lady, an acquaintance of my mom, who was nice enough to teach me a thing or two about piano. It was quite fun, but I didn't pursue it. So she said I was very talented, which probably comes from my gaming habits. In fact, she was very impressed by how quickly I was learning and that I was playing with both hands at the same time from the start, essentially. And I actually managed to learn like 3 or 4 songs by heart. They were not really crazy, but it was quite nice. I didn't continue because I was not really too invested in this, but it was definitely fun trying it out. White or dark meat chicken? Either way works, usually white, I guess. Why the cucumber? So in case you haven't seen this has become kind of a meme, and here and there I just keep eating a little piece of cucumber, sometimes a full one. So that happens, and why does it happen? I don't know. This was just some part of the vegetables that I was eating at that time, back when I was doing the 150 solo clear, and it was nice to just keep it handy next to me and take a bite here and there. Apart from this, what do I like? I don't know. There's a lot of vegetables I enjoy eating, nothing really crazy. What's your favorite vegetable apart from the cucumber? Well, I have not really any big preference. I just like good food in general, and cucumber was just a nice snack to have in some cases. So I eat a lot of things. When will there be Wudi branded pickled cucumbers available for purchase? Yeah, I'll think about it. It will probably come right after the Wudi C mug. Do you read books, and if so, which has caught your interest? I don't really read a lot of books. I actually enjoy reading. Usually I was reading a lot of articles, news. When I was younger, also a lot of Wikipedia actually. I just enjoyed browsing Wikipedia or just reading up on a lot of stuff, and you can easily get lost there and just read for hours and hours. So this is what I have done a lot in the past. I did also read books. When I was very little, I was reading the Harry Potter series, but these days I don't really read anything. But when I read this question, actually one book came to my mind, and that was You Are Not So Smart. I like that one a lot. Are there any principles, ways of approaching a problem you have learned through video games which you have successfully applied IRL? Yes, a lot. So I think video games in general teaches you a lot about how to approach problems, about how to solve problems, and especially when you try to be good in video games and kind of not just be there for the experience, I believe that you can definitely take away a lot for real life. So not everything is like one-to-one, like convertible, I'd say, but it is more of like a generic like learning experience, just keeping your mind sharp and allowing you to think in like bigger context. So I enjoy that a lot, and I think that gaming in general has helped me a ton. Obviously, it always comes down to a healthy amount, so you can't just rely on gaming to learn everything for yourself, for your life. You have to do other things, you have to go to school, you have to do your homework. This is just how it works, and this is just another part that teaches you other things. Do you learn all that you learn about a game through testing and experimentation, or do you research as well? What are some tips to learn about things the wudijo way? So yeah, most of the stuff that I have learned about the games that I've played are usually coming from my own testing and my own experimentation. That's actually true. So this doesn't only apply to Diablo 3. In basically every game I play, I try and I love to test things. I love to push it to the limit. I love to make the games crash. I love to just do some crazy stuff with whatever I can. Doesn't matter if it's an ARPG, if it's a strategy game, if it's a city building game, I don't know, anything basically. So this is something that I've always done. I've always liked to be creative, always liked to construct on my own, and this continues to this day. So this is like one of the reasons why I go so in depth into the mechanics of, for example, Diablo 3, and I make these guides so detailed and I try to learn everything there is, because I genuinely enjoy that. I like to know how things work so I can combine the different pieces of the puzzle, so to say, in the best way. So about the wudijo way, I would say that if you ever want to do something similar, you always have to be curious and you have to leave no stone unturned, so to say. So you always have to question, why is something working this way and how can you use it? But just testing stuff is not always enough, especially in very complex games. So if you're talking about D3, if you're talking about PoE, it's even more complex than D3. You also need to rely on other people to some degree to find things for you, or just look at things, look at what others have found. You don't need to do everything yourself. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. But there are definitely tons of little things that you can find on your own. And usually whenever I play a new game, I never watch anything. I always go in blind. I've done so with basically all the games that I've ever played, and this is always the best experience for me. What drove you to play Diablo at the highest level? Was it just something that happened naturally while you were playing in the past, or did you strive towards becoming the best? Well, I did talk about this a little bit. So essentially I always liked to be the best I can when I play video games, or just in general, I guess. I always have a high level of ambition, I would say, and this also applied to Diablo. So when Diablo initially came out in vanilla, I just went through Inferno, I created my Demon Hunter, I blasted through the game in like a week or two, I don't know exactly how long it took, and I just wanted to get done with the game, and I wanted to press forward, even with the crappiest gear, only blue items. You know how it was if you played back then. So there was this one weekend shortly after release when I was stuck in Act 2 Inferno on Belial, and I was literally trying Belial for 12 hours a day the entire weekend until I finally defeated him with my 8000 DPS Demon Hunter. So I was proud of that one, and then I continued onwards and I just got even more wrecked in Act 3 and Act 4, but at least I didn't have this roadblock anymore. Yeah, at some point I also started with Hardcore right after that, so I went through Inferno Hardcore at some point, defeated Diablo at some point, so that was pretty cool. And then eventually RS came out, and in between I was always playing a bit. And with RS, it was also the time when I started streaming for the first time. So this was actually something that came from my brother, who essentially told me, why don't you start streaming? You're doing something that no one else seems to be doing, and that was solo farming Torment 6 with a Demon Hunter, which was incredibly difficult back then. So almost no one was doing Torment 6. There were some meta combos and groups and stuff. I don't even know exactly, because I didn't even know about any community websites. I didn't even know about Twitch. I didn't watch anything on YouTube. I was just blasting. So at some point I started streaming, and there were like a few viewers here and there that showed up, and I was just showing to the world what I was doing. And from there on we had the seasons, and I really enjoyed the competition. I really liked being at the top and basically showing how it's done. And that was definitely what has kept me going a lot in Diablo 3. What do you do away from the game to refresh and stay motivated for the D3 grinds? How can you stay motivated to play D3? Okay, so this is a question I actually hear quite a lot, not just here, but also on my stream, for example. So this is obviously a very personal thing. For me, I can stay motivated to something very easily. I'm a very patient person, and especially for something like Diablo 3, you need to have patience. You need to understand how much time you need to invest into the game to get a certain result. And I understand that very well. But before the season even starts, I know exactly how many hours I need for this, how many I need for that, and how long I will have to push my build and what I will do next. And I can essentially calculate it all out if I want it. I don't even do that really. I just have a kind of a gut feeling, and that is enough for me to kind of make plans and understand how much of an investment that is. But it is definitely extremely important for games like Diablo 3 to have goals. If you just play and grind for no reason at all, you will lose interest extremely fast. So I set goals for myself. Every time before the season I have some goals, and then I have some other things in the back of my head, so to say, of what I might want to do if I have reached those goals too early, or if I still want to play another 100 hours or something like that. And I can kind of go from there with smaller steps. What do I do to refresh and step away from the game? Usually towards the end of the season I either play other games, so I do a little bit of variety streaming. For example, recently I've done Last Epoch, that was very fun, another ARPG that you could also go take a look at. Or I also just try to spend some time outside of gaming in general, so I try to get away from the PC as much as I possibly can. This is not really so easy because usually I'm very busy with a lot of work. I have the stream, I have the YouTube, we have Maxroll guides, we have a lot of stuff going on. So I'm not really away from the PC very much. But I do enjoy the seasonal grind, I do enjoy just playing games in general. And yeah, sometimes you have to kind of unwind, maybe play something else for a little while and then come back. Is D3 your favorite game? Do you play anything else? Why mainly the Diablo franchise? So this started with Diablo 2 for me when I was 11 years old or so. So I was playing Diablo 2 with my friends at LAN parties, and we would have this one weekend where we blasted through normal difficulty with our crazy new characters, and we ended up level 40 and we were super proud playing through the whole night. So this was quite funny. Obviously when I was older and Diablo 3 came out, I was already much better at gaming, and I was just a bit more professional, I guess, in my approach. I did play a lot of other games in the past, but usually I stuck to one or two main games and then some other stuff on the side, and it has also been less variety over the years. So especially when I was young, I used to play a lot of different games, and then eventually I came into the habit of just sticking to a game long term, like Diablo 3. Before that, I used to play a lot of WoW. In fact, I think I have more hours in World of Warcraft than I have in Diablo 3 combined. So I did play that game a lot when I was younger. My golden times were Vanilla, BC, and then also doing Cataclysm and MOP. So those were the times when I played the most there, and I accumulated thousands and thousands of hours. In Diablo I also have, I think, around 7,000 or something like that, but I don't think this is as much as I have in the other game. These days I don't really play a lot of different things, but I do some variety, as I just mentioned. So here and there I do play other games, and of course I like PoE a lot. So sometimes I stream that as well. I have also released some videos, and in the future I'm also planning to go more deeply into this as well. What made you like Demon Hunter so much? Do you have attraction to classes with similar themes, hunters, marksmen and other games? Why do you love the best class, Demon Hunter, in the game so much? The answer is, yeah, I do have a clear affinity, and actually I started playing a Demon Hunter because I used to play Rogue in WoW. So I wanted to have something fast and agile, and while many of you might think, oh, this would probably be a hunter in WoW, and maybe a monk in D3, I just liked the overall fast, dark theme of the Demon Hunter more than I liked being a melee. But these days I definitely enjoy bow classes in general a lot more than I enjoy melee classes, but obviously this always depends a bit on the playstyle, on the exact game and stuff. But usually I really like to try bow stuff first when there's ARPGs, or just similarly like fast agile characters at least. What is your daily schedule like when you start your season? How do you stay motivated? With 150 under your belt, will you be essentially done for the season and start other content like PoE? Yeah, so I just talked about my goals and how I set them, so that always depends a little bit. I'm still prioritizing Diablo 3 as my main game. I do play PoE as well, and I do stream and intend to make more content for it as well, but for now obviously we're gonna focus on Diablo. So my season schedule is usually extremely hard at the start of the season. So actually at the season start I'll do a 30-hour stream in one go, and then we're gonna have a schedule of something like 15-16 hours a day until around a week or 1.5 weeks into the season, and then I will slowly start slowing down. So it is kind of harsh. I will sleep like 4 hours maximum because I also make YouTube videos every day. So this also needs like another hour-ish or something like that most of the time. And I will obviously keep you guys updated about my progress. Why no 11k Paragon? Huh, noob. Yeah, ain't nobody got time for that. Why are your augments so low compared to what level of Greater Rift you can do? Wouldn't it have been worthwhile to farm 140s or so to at least get augments to 141 easily for all slots? Or is the difference in decks not worth it? Yeah, this was about my 150 Demon Hunter clear. And the answer is, ain't nobody got time for that. What do you think of people doing rat runs until insane Paragon, then swiping all the top ranked leaderboards? Not a big fan. I really hope they rework the Paragon system. I've already shown my own rework concept for that, so if you want to see that, go check it out. Why do you think you have this much dedication to keep trying to clear a 150? Most people would have given up after 100 keys. Yeah, so this is also, I think, from my God DH clear where I have spent 5,500 keys. This was by far the biggest push I've ever done. I've done some other pushes where I was at 1,500 keys, 1,000 keys, 2,000 keys, something like that, but this was by far the most. Yeah, this is just, I know it's possible, I will do it. Full stop. I like to push my character to the limit, and in this case I went beyond that basically, and I just went all in, but I knew it was possible, and I knew that this would be one of the greatest achievements that I can hope for in Diablo 3, and I did it, and I was very proud of it in the end. I know a lot of you guys were there when it happened, or you watched the video at least, and we had incredible support. I had a lot of people on Twitch, on YouTube, giving comments, supporting me, just cheering on me, and it was an amazing experience, one of my best gaming moments. So it was really amazing, so thank you all for that. What are your top 3 favorite post-ROS builds that have ever existed? I would say Multishot, Oriana, Ball Lightning. Why Woody Helmet is still not called Woody Helmet in-game? Don't you think Blizzard should give you a specific in-game item just because you deserved it? So the first question is about my transmog that I usually use for my rank 1 clears. So I use the Conqueror's helmet. This is like this special transmog set, and it has this one like feathered helmet. I don't know, I just like that one. Obviously they shouldn't rename it or anything, but this is more of like a funny question here. But the second one kind of ties into this with a specific in-game item. Honestly, Blizzard doesn't need to do anything. So I'm just playing the game, I'm blasting, and if they ever want to do something like this, obviously I would be very honored and humbled, but I'm totally fine, so thank you very much. If you had a chance to replay one season from the past, which one would it be and why? Now that is a very interesting question. I think the coolest season ever was probably season 3, because that was the Natalia meta on Demon Hunter. But it's really hard to say. Like some of these, like first 5 seasons especially, there was a lot of changes, a lot of metas, a lot of things I never tried because I was so focused on Demon Hunter, and back then you basically had no chance to play more than one class if you wanted to compete anywhere close to the top 10. And I was extremely competitive back then, and it was a really insane grind in times before we had kind of Cube and that kind of stuff. So yeah, probably season 3. How your adventure in the CE clan started and what's the history of CE. Yeah, so this was the clan I was in before. Now I'm in the Max Roll team, and we have our own little clan of like 6 members. because it's basically just an internal clan. But I was in Zero Empathy, which at some points was considered the best clan on the European server, and it had a lot of people high ranks, getting rank 1s, getting like group rank 1s, all this stuff, especially in the early seasons. A lot of nice people I've met and played with from back in the day. And I was not there when it was created. That was like way before my time. So that was like doing vanilla, when it was just like a collaboration and like group of like friends and streamers. I know there was like Void, Moldran, Invis, Rob was there. I don't know, like a few more people that I don't know too well, and they have all been like kind of playing together. And then I joined in season 1, and that was right after my world rank 1 tier 45 ball lightning solo clear, where also my Twitch sub gif and my sub emote comes from, in case you were not aware of that. And since I was essentially the one who brought this build into the public and into the meta, they were really impressed by this and asked me to join them. So I stayed there for 20 seasons basically, until we created Maxroll. And yeah, CE has obviously been going more inactive, a lot of people leaving and moving on over time, but it was still a really nice community overall. What did I play before getting hooked into Diablo? So I talked about WoW. At that time specifically, when Diablo came out, I'm not sure anymore what it was and what I was doing. So not only did I play WoW, but I also played some other games like Hearthstone quite often here and there. I was playing a rogue, of course, most of the time. And I also did some other games here and there, like CSGO even, but I'm not a big fan of shooters. Since you've played Media in Exile, what's your opinion on this mod endgame approach? Would you prefer that over the D3 one? What is your favorite Uber fight from Media in Exile? So in case you're not aware, this is a Diablo 2 mod which expands the game with a heavy modification of the classes, skills, and the entire endgame. So essentially it has like a whole new set of challenges and dungeons that are extremely difficult and reward you with extremely powerful stuff. And it is very fun. I played through this with a Void actually. So this was a few years ago, 3-4 years or something like that, I don't know. And I was just blasting this like 15 hours a day with a Void in basically the 2-man party. It was really fun. My most memorable fight from that was probably against the Spider. I didn't like that very much. And maybe Oldisia, and that was pretty cool. Do I prefer this mod approach over the free one? Considering how much I have played D3 versus how much I have played Media in Exile, no. So I like that people can do the modding on Diablo 2. That is definitely one of the perks that this game has. In D3, with how the game works these days, we could do a lot of cool stuff. But would it end up being great? This is always a big question, and there's a huge chance that no mode would ever really become very great. I don't know exactly. I think that it's definitely worth trying out different stuff, especially if you like ARPGs as much as I do, and just go and see what's out there, maybe get a bit of a different feel, get some fresh air, so to say, and it's definitely fun to jump into something new. Mr. Fletcher's Pride is an unused quiver and it's a huge flaw. What worthy legendary power would you create for it? Yeah, so there's a quiver without any legendary power. I would give it some kind of spike trap power. Spike trap is something that is definitely always on the list when I talk about Demon Hunter updates, and I would give it some cool stuff like spike traps can explode multiple times, and whenever one of them is already exploding, it will automatically start a chain reaction whenever you create new spike traps. So it can do some kind of like miner or like trapper play style instead of just putting a few on the ground and having them explode all at once. So when are you playing Shadow Impale again? Probably when I do my next Demon Hunter season and I have the gear for it. I just don't know actually in the last season. If there was one quality of life thing you could add to the game right now, what would that be? I would say salvage all legendary items in your inventory. So this is probably the biggest time saver that we could get, but obviously there are a ton of things to work on for the defeat team. Will you cover Diablo Immortal? What are your thoughts about Immortal, and do you plan to play it even casually? Yeah, so this is obviously an old question from way back before the Immortal Alpha. I did play Immortal Alpha, I did stream it, I even uploaded a few videos of it, and I'm also working on Maxroll content for Diablo Immortal. So yeah, I will cover Diablo Immortal. How much will I play of it? I don't know exactly. For now, when it comes out, I'm definitely intending to blast it, My plans for it are going full free to play, so it is a pretty cool game if you try it out. Personally, I was not expecting to like it as much because I never played anything on a console. I never played anything on my phone besides like Snake, like 12 years ago. And then came this, and it is actually pretty solid. So I do enjoy it, and we'll see about like the long term. And I will definitely not abandon everything else. I will just keep blasting Diablo 3. I will keep blasting PoE and whatever else strikes my fancy. But yeah, Immortal, I definitely want to give it a shot. Have you ever played Diablo 3 on console? What do you think? Will Blizzard ever take a closer look at this part of the game, or will we always have to compete with cheaters? The answer is no, I've never played it. As I just said, I didn't have a console. I almost never played anything on console besides like Mortal Kombat or something. When I was over at a friend like 20 years ago basically. And about the cheating situation, I would say there's zero hope. What do you hope Diablo 4 will be as a game? Which aspects of Diablo 3 should it keep? What direction would you want it to go? What classes do you expect for D4 and why Demon Hunter? Do you think we Demon Hunters will still have a place into D4, and if not, what would be the alternative? Yeah, so obviously most of these questions have kind of solved themselves, but I want to talk about Diablo 4 in general anyway. So Diablo 4 is definitely the star on the horizon that we're all waiting for, I guess. So everyone and a dog is gonna play Diablo 4 when it comes, obviously, and this is obviously what I am waiting for and preparing for myself as well. So when it comes, you can definitely expect that I will be there, I'll be covering the game, I'll be streaming it all day, every day when it comes out, and we're gonna have a big blast there. What direction do I want it to go? That is hard to say. So they do have a very new approach, which is MMO kind of theme. Personally, I like that. I like in general what I have seen of the game. What I definitely want is more customization. I think the skill trees could need more of that. I think items are looking okay, but obviously we want more like build creating, build changing items, obviously, but not to the point where we have like, you know, insane damage bonuses for one skill like in D3, but just something that completely changes how your character works. This is definitely what Diablo 4 needs. Just more customization, more synergies, more really weird builds that you can make with certain stuff. And yeah, I think there should also be a really cool like dungeon system. So it seems like they will have some kind of dungeons that are like kind of fixed or something. At least I believe that it's going to be something like this. And what I think would be really amazing in Diablo 4 would be a Mythic Plus kind of system where you have like weekly changing affixes and rewards where you go into the same dungeon, but some monsters have different abilities or like different bonuses or something like this, and you always have to go in with a new strategy every week to try to beat it on like the highest difficulty or something like this. So this is something what they have done in WoW, and they actually took the inspiration from D3 originally and then just made Greater Rifts but better. And I think they should take now the inspiration from WoW to put it into Diablo 4. Apart from this, I think boss fights should also be taken a close look at. I think boss fights are in general amazing when they are well designed in ARPGs, and this is something that, for example, PoE does right in many ways because they have amazing bosses in the end game. And D4 definitely has to learn from that and make really cool, engaging boss fights. Apart from this, everything is kind of out in the open about trading, about how the gearing will work, the progression. We definitely have to avoid some kind of like Paragon trap like we have in D3, where Paragon becomes paramount and it's the only reasonable way to improve a character. So this definitely has to go. We can't have this. But yeah, it will be probably easier to talk about this when I've actually gotten my own hands on the game. In terms of classes, we got the Rogue instead of the Demon Hunter, and oh man, I am so pumped for the Rogue. So this is gonna be obviously my main, and I'm gonna play this first. I'm gonna blast through the campaign. I'm gonna go vote first, I don't know, but I'm gonna be Rogue. I'm gonna be blasting hard. So I'm very excited for this. The last class that I think might be included in Diablo 4 is some kind of priest. So I think it's gonna be some kind of Rathma priest or something like this, something that can summon stuff, and something that might have some kind of like holy and dark theme together. But we'll see. Obviously, it's just speculation at this point. Alright, here are some more personal questions now. What's your job? What country are you from? And what's your day job? Would you ever consider become a full-time streamer? Should this be financially sustainable at some point? Or do you feel like keeping a classic 9-to-5 job keeps you sharp? What made you become a streamer and content creator? When was that? What do you do for work and other hobbies besides gaming? Yeah, so obviously these questions are a bit from like different periods in time, because since then I have actually announced that I'm becoming a full-time streamer. I have been a full-time streamer for half a year now actually, and I was really struggling a bit when I was working and trying to keep up with the schedule of gaming and YouTube and all the same at the same time. So I'm very happy and also very thankful that you guys made this possible for me, just from all the support that we have gotten. And yeah, it is going pretty well, and I'm very glad that I can do this, and this is something that I feel very privileged to do, and I definitely want to give something back to you guys as much as I can. So I keep you guys entertained, I hope, and keep you guys updated about builds, about new guides, whatever, and I just try to do as much as I can. I almost work more than before I quit my day job actually, simply because of the whole like streaming and macro guides and all the stuff going on at the same time most of the time. But I like it very much. It is very fulfilling, and I have a lot of support from all directions. So I did work a day job for a little while. So I was basically studying, then I went to start a job sometime mid last year, and I worked for like half a year, and then I quit and I went for full-time streaming. So this is what I've been doing since then. So it was extremely difficult to keep everything going at the same time, especially during the time of this 150 solo DH clear, and also in season 22 with the bone spear, because both times I was full-time working while trying to get a rank 1 and do the 150 before everyone else. That was extremely hard. I was sleeping like 3 hours a night maximum for like a full month each time basically. So yeah, I'm glad that I don't have to do it that way anymore, and I really like how things are going right now. So do I have any other hobbies besides gaming? Not really. So right now I'm trying to study some Greek. I guess you can consider that a hobby, but on the other hand it's also a necessity, considering that I live in Greece now, and this is mostly where I try to scrape together a bit of time, but most of the time I'm just working around the clock. Where do you live in Germany, and where would you like to live if you had a choice? What's the thing you love about Germany, and what's the thing you hate? Yeah, so this was a question from when I was still in Germany. As I just mentioned, I'm not anymore. And I was in Munich. This is where I had my first job. So it was like a nice city, and I didn't go there for any particular reason. This was just where my job brought me, because I found it somewhere, I applied, they took me, that's it. So I was working at an embassy there as a translator, and it was an alright job. Was fine, but obviously nothing for really long term, because this was not what I studied anyway. What's the thing I love about Germany is, I would say, just that things usually work quite reliably. Aside from the trains, those might not be on schedule all the time, but yeah, most things kind of work the same way everywhere. And what's the thing I hate? I gotta say, I don't really have anything in particular that I hate about Germany. I like my country. Did you recently move? Yes, I live in Athens now, since around 4 months ago. Which countries did you visit in your lifetime? Yeah, so far not too many, but also not too bad, I guess. So mostly all around in Central Europe. So I've been to France, a bit of Italy. I've been to like Austria, Switzerland, Czech Republic. I've actually lived in Prague for 3 months at some point for an internship. I've been to the Netherlands, to Denmark. So basically all around there. I've also traveled a bit further in some cases. I have been to a student exchange to China actually, and also to the US at some point. So those were pretty cool when I was still back in school. And there's a few other countries I'm missing now. And obviously Greece. When did you archive your older D3 content? Why have your old media, YouTube, Twitch, Discord, Reddit gotten erased? Yeah, so that's a very difficult and personal question. The short answer, without going into the details, is that I had been in a very toxic relationship, and I was essentially forced to do that. So I deeply regret all of this. Obviously, that was like a huge setback in some ways, and also kind of put me in a very bad spot. But yeah, these days I've let this behind me, and things are going better than ever. So thank you all for that. Unfortunately, I can't bring any of this back. I had all of my stuff on YouTube, especially like my videos. I had like 500 videos or something. I had my old channel with like 18,000 subscribers before I started this one. And yeah, everything is gone. I don't have anything saved. And so it's the same with the Reddit account, with some of my posts there, with my old Discord server. But again, we have a new Discord server now that has grown to multiple times the size. My YouTube is like twice the size now. My Twitch is actually still there. That's still the original. I was kind of lucky that you are not allowed to delete your Twitch channel before getting unpartnered. So this is the main reason why I still have it. And I basically just never did that step to actually go to deletion. But yeah, some of the old videos on Twitch are also gone, but this has a different reason. This is because of DMCA troubles. So just as a safety measure, I deleted everything from like older than, I don't know, half a year ago or something like this. I just deleted all old clips on Twitch, all old videos, just to make sure that there's no copyright stuff going on and my channel is safe from that, because there was a huge problem with that. If you had an option to magically bring back one clear video from the old channel, which one would it be? I would say Season 9 Marauder Cluster Bombs, Rank 1. That was one of the craziest ones. And that actually ended up Rank 2 end of the season at only 1400 Paragon. I'm very proud of that one. Obviously, badass music included. Do you have a relationship? Was he, she supportive throughout all this or play Diablo? I think someone mentioned that you are married. If so, this must have been very hard. Lucky to have found someone who shares your love of D3. That ending was super wholesome. How did you two meet? Yeah. So now things are going much better for myself, and you might have seen in Nina V already. If you're around on my Discord, if you're around on my Twitch, she did show up here and there, and it is definitely the complete opposite of what I just described. She is indeed very supportive, and she's always there for me, always helping me out, also taking care of me when I'm just busy streaming all day, every day, and these kind of things. And just in general, she is definitely the center of my life now, and I'm very happy to have her. She's so lovely with how she treats me, and I can just be myself with her and enjoy what I love doing the most, and I could not have found a better person for myself. So here's a picture of us together. I really like that one. It's one of my favorites of us, and yeah, I'm just so happy to have her. So to answer a few questions about her, yes, she does play Diablo. Indeed, we have played together quite a lot, also on stream. So that does happen from time to time. She does show up, she is very interested, and she's also blasting PoE a lot. So she's a gamer just like me, and she's quite knowledgeable. She's also supporting me in that sense. Like when I make my content, she also helps me out with like just some ideas or some questions or some topics I could cover sometimes. So that is also great to have. But she's not just a gamer, she also has a lot of other interests. So for example, she likes studying other languages. She's actually studied a bit of German, for example, so she can communicate a bit when she was visiting me and talking to me in a few words. So that was really amazing. We actually just recently bought an app to have access to, I think, 20 or something different languages, where she wants to revise some of the languages that she has learned in the past. She also really enjoys music. She's actually taken some vocal lessons in the past and stuff like that. And obviously she's a great cook, so that's really amazing, because I get to try all the Greek delicacies. And she's also an animal lover. We have our own little animal, which is a bunny. You might have seen her. She's called Isolde, a very cute little white bunny that sometimes shows up on stream if you happen to be around at the right moment. And yeah, we're just a very happy little family with a bunny. Are you a dog or cat person? That's Isolde, by the way. Oh, little bunny. What is the most important object you own? I would say that's my phone, but just because, first of all, it's a very handy tool to own, and also because it has all the pictures of Nini and me together from our vacation and from just, being around in different places and from all the nice moments we have shared together. So this is the most important. All right, let's move on to like the last part of like some random questions here. What color are your socks? Yeah, usually black, some white, I definitely want to go to a system where I throw all of them away and then I have one color for long socks and one color for short socks. Let's see how that will work out. But I assure you, even as a German, I don't wear them with sandals. Can you share your music playlist? Yes. So first of all, I have Twitch commands for this. I also have my music playlist coming from YouTube. So you can go here on my channel, go to playlists, and there are my music playlists. I have an old one that is like really long with lots of really cool music that I don't dare to use anymore on Twitch for my live streams because of DMCA stuff. But I also have a new one that is like copyright free and I use these days. So go check them out if you like. I have a lot of synthwave, retro wave. It's like 80s style music, lots of really awesome stuff. Obviously, since we're talking about here, you can also find the link for it here in the description. But in the future, go take a look there. If ARPGs disappeared, what would you do? What would be your life if ARPGs wasn't a thing? Yeah, so as a gamer, I'll definitely keep gaming, I guess. So there would be other games I would try, I would play, maybe even professionally, who knows. Obviously, we are in the RPG genre. I like this one the most, and I just enjoy this. But I don't know. I would have maybe gone for like another career. Maybe I would have like pursued with another job instead of streaming. But who knows? In the end, I would do well with that anyway, I guess, because of all the other options available. I was always very curious about the physical realities of how you play and hit keys and hold your mouse and what your keybinds are. It all looks so relaxed, even when you're going ham-targeting multiple keys at speed. Yeah, it's not exactly a question, but that was a funny one here. Yeah, actually, I did have a video very long ago where I was doing like a mouse-only multi-shot clear. I think I have to do it again. So in general, I don't know, I have my normal keyboard set up, I have my mouse here, I press buttons, that's how it works. So one of the things that I get asked about a lot is my force move key for Diablo 3. That's my mouse wheel, so I tend to scroll and you might hear it when I play, because this is just how I learned to play the game at some point, because I realized I need to have more precise movement if I want to improve my gameplay, and so I swapped to this option because it allows basically more control of your character. Other than this, I don't think it's anything special. I just learned to type and press some buttons really quickly at some point, I guess, over the years when I was playing games with many different requirements, and that's just how it is. If Alice has 20 melons and Bob is the father of her second child, given that the sky is blue, how old is the person who harvested the melons? The answer is maybe. If you had the ability to wipe your memory of one movie that you've seen to see it for the first time again, which one would it be? Blade Runner 2049. If you could, would you? I mean, have you seen my black film videos? And finally, the last question for this AMA. If you had to ask any question to yourself, what question it should be? I would say, would you do it all over again? And the answer to that would be yes. I am very happy with where I am right now, and even though some parts of my life have been not as great as it is now, I essentially ended up here, and who knows where I will be going from here. But I think the future is bright. I think I will be very happy going forward, and I'm just glad with what we have built so far. Also with you guys, I'm happy to have you all, and it's just amazing doing what I do. It's actually a question that I ask myself from time to time anyway, and in the end I always come to the conclusion that yes, I would do that, because I have been fulfilling my dream, I'm living the dream, so to say, and I also wish for all of you guys that you will do the same, no matter what your dreams are. Go pursue them, go take the opportunity when you have it, and I hope that you'll also achieve it, whatever it is. So these are the 50 questions of the AMA. I know this took a long time to actually release. I had some other points in time where I was preparing for this and then didn't make it, so unlucky I guess, but here we are. Hope you really enjoyed it, and I also enjoyed talking about these questions. I know a lot of you guys want to learn more about me, and I'm just glad to have you all, so I wanted to give back some of that.